Okay. We're just gonna go straight. It should be short, man. It's gonna be like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. I know you're recording. That's all right.
Julian started.
I'll pick my nose, but that's fine. I can see the sign when it says recording.
Once he pressed play, he looked mad sus. Like we didn't see him. Like he was grinning. I can see you. You know that, right?
I'm glad I didn't say anything problematic about his relationship. And he's on mute. How are you the producer? And you're on mute. You start the recording, but you don't know how to. Okay. See, you look like a damn fool.
No, I genuinely don't know how that was on mute. I didn't even. You guys saw me. I didn't touch my mic at all.
No, you would have thought that by episode 100 he would know how to produce by now. But.
Anyways, it is episode 100 of Real Fans Podcast. What has it been, like 2 years? Over 2 years now?
We're going towards 3, I think.
Because it was 2021, I want to say. So.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
I want to say it was the 2021 NFL season. I'm almost pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 100 episodes in. I was tired of Gabe by episode 9, so it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
I just want to say, JoJo, 100 episodes in, you've been ugly since day one. So, congrats to you. Congrats to you.
I appreciate that. 100 episodes in.
You used to be able to see a jawline.
Hold on. Wait, 100 episodes in, and the Jags are still trash.
Oh.
That's the guy outside the playoffs.
Oh, damn. Let's talk about it. Look, we're going to get into it. Right now, we're end of the year. It's almost where, Christmas time is nearing, as you can see in JoJo's background. We haven't talked in a while, but let's get into it because, a lot of movement in the NFL going on. So let's talk about the season overall. I guess the first topic we want to get into was the MVP race that we were talking about. Because I don't know, there was some guy in some town in Texas, and everybody was talking about him. And I don't know, last night, not convincing. But let's get to the MVP talk. Kind of who overall, I guess you guys thought going into it, who's going to be big. Julian, I'll go to you first, and then kind of how you think it's going to suss out with the odds.
I will say, in general, the MVP rate, I feel like no one was super convincing. Obviously, there's favorites, and I'll pull up the odds in a second. But in general, I feel like no one really stood out heavily in previous years. Let's go into the odds while I talk about it because it would make more sense. But who's leading the pack is Brock Purdy at minus 200. Then it's Lamar Jackson at plus 450. So it's Brock Purdy's pretty much very heavy favorite to win it. And, kind of going through everything, I see it. I think he is. I think he had an amazing season. Honestly, just an amazing story. This guy was literally the last draft pick. And then they got rid of the guy who they traded the whole fucking team for to get in the third spot to pick him, and he barely played, and he gets traded out, and he's just going to be gone and off the face of the ether because that's what happens to some of these guys in the NFL. So it's kind of crazy to think that this guy went from starting midseason last year to being MVP. Absolutely wild. So for me, I think he's kind of my pick. Lamar Jackson has had a great year, and I think he's really progressed as a thrower. And just becoming an overall quarterback because even I don't know if you guys saw the game last night, but there was moments where Lamar Jackson would have took off running, but he actually didn't, and he stayed up and kept looking for the throw and resulted in more plays.
I'm glad you bring that up, Julian, and I know that was tough for you to say because from our previous episodes, you were a non-believer no matter how many throwing or passing touchdowns he's had.
Hold up.
So I'm appreciating his take right now.
I do think he's improving. I think he's improving. Do I still think he's an elite passer in the league? No, I don't think. But if you combine with the other abilities he has, he's still one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But he is getting better, and he's just proving to himself to get better. To be fair, for those years, it's not like he really had anybody to throw to.
He's won an MVP
not the greatest
also already, by the way. So
So yeah, but when I'm talking, I'm not okay. Yeah, we're talking about the MVP race, but I think, and also too, he's been healthy the past couple of years. He's been banged up. It's just, can they get over that playoff hump? Dude's only won one playoff game. I think he's 1-4. So, but Brock Purdy, don't get me wrong, he's playing amazing, but his team is fucking stacked. The Niners are insane. after just watching the beatdown they've been putting on team after team after team and quality teams, like the dude's been playing out of his mind. Brandon Ayuk stepping up. Obviously, you have Debo. Christian McCaffrey. Now, that was something I was truly wrong about. I thought Christian McCaffrey was done after the Panthers like whole thing, but then now you look at the Panthers. I don't know if you guys saw the photos. They can't even fill up like a quarter of the stadium nowadays. It was horrible. I think they had like 30,000 people there or something like that is what the final count was, which is like not even half of the stadium, which is wild, which rightfully so. But yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, and to me, he's one like right now he is 6th in the MVP race. I think he's ahead of Dak Prescott. I think Dak is getting all this because Dak is in 3rd place with plus 700. Fairness, I'm a Dak hater, but the dude, the first third of the season, he did not look good. The first third, he did not look good. And to me, to be an MVP, you have to be consistent throughout the whole season. Yeah. And then, especially after seeing last night, the shit show they put on in the masterclass the Bills did to that Cowboys defense and offense. There's moments where Dak's look good, but Dak has always had that problem where he just hasn't been consistent. Like, so you never know what to buy with a lot of the Cowboy hype and stuff. Josh Allen should not be 4th. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. The way that man throws picks, there's no way he should be 4th in the race. I think Jalen Hurts should be above him, who's 5th. And then, I have credit Christian McCaffrey up there. I think it's a little disrespectful how low Vegas has him at plus 2,000. But, yeah. What do you guys think?
Another thing I hate too is just when it gets near the end of the year, we start doing like who's been good recently. As soon as the end of the year happens, it's like you said earlier, Julian. Like there's got to be consistency over the entire season. Who dominated the entire season and dragged your team? I don't want a guy who's just been hot for 2 games. Dak Prescott all of a sudden in week 17 throws 500 yards and like, oh, he's the MVP. It's like, well, I mean, did you see that game against Buffalo? Did you see the game? The beginning of the season. So I mean, I kind of hate that stuff. But he has had an up year, I would say. I don't know if he's obviously going to win the thing, but he's had an up year as much as I want to hate on the Cowboys. Overall, it's always the names like we always know, right? We always know JoJo the handful of names, right? It's always going to be like your Joe Burrows, your Patrick Mahomes. I was thinking Justin Jefferson. There's always these guys. Tyreek Hill. Maybe some people thought Tyreek Hill was going to be MVP. It's always the same name, the same consistent names every year. So I don't know, Jojo, how you felt about the list overall and like Brock Purdy being it, because I mean, a lot of people hate on Brock Purdy. They're saying system quarterback. You could put anybody in there and they'd be good. Jojo, I don't know overall how you feel.
Yeah. So my thing with that is that kind of sucks, right? Right. That's just people, being haters at that point, right? He's literally doing his job. Yeah. What more do you want? Do they want more flash? They want some Patrick Mahomes sidearm throws, like I don't understand, right? Like,
But then he does that, throws a pick, and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Play safe."
It's ridiculous because 49ers started off dominant this season and off rip. Everyone's saying they're going to the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. And they're saying that Brock Purdy, hasn't dealt with adversity. Cool. They get some injuries, right? They go on a 3-game losing streak. And now all of a sudden, people didn't believe in them. They're like, 49ers were frauds. Now, what did they do after the 3-game stint? People became healthy. Brock Purdy dealt with his adversity. Right? Hey, he needed to go through that because they didn't deal with that last season. Unfortunately, they had 3 injuries. They had quarterbacks out left and right. Yeah, that's why they lost
Trent
that playoff
game. Out for a little bit.
Right? Yeah. So they came back and look at them right back in that conversation of being, Super Bowl contenders. And he's a huge part of that. He made adjustments. The team got healthy again. Doesn't matter. Yes, they got one of the best play callers in the game. They got Christian McCaffrey. They have Deebo Samuel. But who is leading the pack? That's your quarterback. He has the stats. He's being consistent. He's being a leader. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So I really don't understand why people are hating. What do you want this guy to do then? Like, I don't understand. So he can never be considered an MVP because he's on a good team if he's performing well. So I don't know.
The thing too that's so stupid is like, it's not like he's dinking and dunking. I mean, I'm seeing him sling the fucking rock and making tight throws and tight windows and like. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but he has a great team. But what then? when a quarterback doesn't do well, you're saying, oh, he had a terrible coach, not a good team, and not receivers. It's like, which one is it going to be? It's like the dude, to me, hasn't shown any reason to be like he's not that good. Don't get me wrong. There's quarterbacks that I think play better because they're in a really good system versus like if they're maybe in a mid-range system, maybe they don't play that well.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff I'm seeing Purdy do, like there's people that were picked number 1 overall who can't do what the
guess what?
Brock Purdy did, who was picked last.
Here's the people we feel bad for. We feel bad for amazing quarterbacks on a shit team that has amazing stats, but their record doesn't show. So when you have those players high up on the MVP list, right? Well, let's say maybe not Herbert this season, but an example would be, let's say Herbert, outstanding, stats, yards, touchdowns, blah, 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 and they don't have the wins to show for it. Then you're going to have the naysayers say, well, the stats are great, but your record, you're not going to make the playoffs. Why would you win MVP? Brock Purdy is literally doing everything. Yeah. They have a great team. They're dominant. He's part of that dominance. Doesn't have too many turnovers. Don't have his stats, but
I have his stats.
Touchdown passes. He's leading the pack.
Yeah. So right now he's number 1 in touchdowns, 29 touchdowns, 1 above Dak Prescott. I believe he's top 5 in completion, 69% completion. Number 2, top 2 in yards. So I mean, when you're top 5 in any of those top, those kind of quarterback categories, like you have to be mentioned, you have to be nominated. I would say. And like you said, what has he done wrong? Like except play good and win, and his team be like you said, consistent from the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the year, they said 49 going to be in the playoffs. At the end of the year, they say 49 is going to be in the playoffs. So they've had the out of all the teams in the NFL, they probably had the most straight line of complete season this year, barring injuries and stuff. So, and they're primed to be that. So, I mean, and if you're going to put emphasis on the quarterback being so important, I mean, he's the guy with the top 5, top 2 stats. Right?
Yeah. But
I think too, I was going to say too, it's like, I mean, I like Brandon Ayuk and I like Deebo Samuel stuff, but it's not like these guys are world beaters. It's not like they're top 5 receivers in the league. It's not like it's Miami where you have Waddle and Hill. I mean, they're good receivers. They're solid receivers. You can build around these receivers, but like people are acting like
I don't ever want to hear
Justin
from
Jefferson.
I'm not hating on Ayuk. Ayuk has gotten better every season.
Yeah,
he's good, and that's what I'm saying.
It could be a great part of his quarterback, right? He's getting now. Ayuk is getting the recognition now. He was never a top 10 receiver.
Especially with Deebo Samuel being there and him getting injured, obviously, and Deebo coming back this year.
And I don't want to take it like Deebo, like they're not that great. Like they're obviously great. But what I'm saying is like people like, it's not like Miami, for example.
It's not
like,
sexy. It's not a sexy name.
It's fucking insane. Like like they got 5 yards of space between like DBs. Like, you know what I mean? These are solid, really good wide receivers that you have no problem keeping on your team for however fucking long.
I would say I don't know why Tyreek is not in the top 5 right now.
Of what?
Yeah.
For MVP conversation.
If you look at FanDuel too,
I don't understand. Like, where's his name? I was gonna bring when you're going on the list.
Quarterback.
Wait for Tyreek. Where the hell is his
first
name?
non-quarterback is McCaffrey, which I would say McCaffrey is probably the best offensive player. That's why I think I have McCaffrey over Prescott, and I think Josh Allen at 4 is ridiculous. Like, I think that's absurd. Like the inconsistencies, the interceptions, and everything, to have him at 4 to me is just insane. So as for offensive player of the year, McCaffrey's first with minus 160, and Tyreek Hill is second with plus 125, and then third is AJ Brown, but it's so far away. Like, I'll pull it up here. Minus 160 for McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill plus 125 are really close, and then it's a massive drop off, which I would agree with. Like, no one else has really been as dominant as those two players.
Yeah, and it sucks. Unfortunately, Tyreek did have an injury. Right? Didn't he sit out like last game?
Yeah,
that's a minor setback on stats. You know what I mean? That can affect him breaking the record this year if he was going for that. You know, sitting out a game that's costly.
And
it's crazy. He still has that speed
here. So, I mean, he could pick up yards like that. He can have an 80-yard,
But why would you want a
200-yard game like that?
When you're coming off an injury like that, do you really want to push it and try to just do a record just to have the record, or do you want to just go in the playoffs healthy? Like, what's more important to you? Single
especially somebody with, the dude's like a racehorse. He got a racehorse with a weak ankle. Like, you don't want to fuck with it. It's like, that dude is so ridiculous. It's not like he's a bruiser, like a linebacker or whatever. It's like, this is a guy who literally, he's not the tallest guy, so he's not winning jump balls. He's just creating separation. So like, you don't want and I don't know what the rest of the season looks like for the Dolphins.
It's pretty tough. I know they're gonna play the Cowboys. I think it's a pretty tough season. The rest of the way, it's not gonna be easy. I'll say that much. But yeah, man, I'm fine. I'm fine with the MVP race. I'm fine with Brock Purdy being a favorite. I'm not hating on it. JoJo, like you pointed out, Tyreek should probably be above Tua, but I think there's a lot of emphasis on the quarterback position. As long,
Yeah.
I can't name. Actually, that would be a good trivia to look up.
Tyreek and Tua are actually the same right now.
Yeah. Oh wow!
And I guess McCaffrey and then Tyreek and Tua are both plus 2,500.
Yeah, and I've
been a Tua hater, but I would say Tua's had a better season than Josh Allen. Like, I think Tua should be up there above Josh Allen. Like, come on, I
can see that.
I don't know why. And same thing. I mean, Dak Prescott had he's been playing great. Like, he had a 7-game streak where he was playing amazing. But you can't, like Gabe was saying, you can't just have a streak and be season MVP. Like, you got to consistent all the way through.
No.
And then Trevor, then Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, Micah Parsons.
Yo, where's my boy Russ on that list? That's crazy.
You're delusional, dog.
Where's my boy? How many touchdowns does he have right now?
The corpse of Russell Wilson is still in Seattle. Somewhere in Seattle. That's where his corpse is. So.
Yeah, it's over 20.
All right. Here, let's do it. All right, Gabe, over under 20 TDs for Russell Wilson.
Oh, damn! I don't even know where he's at right now. But you know what? I know Sutton's up there. with touchdowns. He might be number 2.
Over. It's over.
I have no idea.
I go over. I know Sutton's up there with touchdowns. Because here's another stat that I saw with Russell Wilson. It was Russell Wilson, he's not throwing intermediate passes. However they define intermediate passes, I think it's 10 to 15 yards. But he's throwing deep passes. So he's throwing short or deep. It's feast or famine with Russell.
He's always been like that. Russ has always been. I think if you look at his stats, he's one of the best deep ball quarterbacks in the league history. Yeah. But yet he doesn't really throw a lot of passing yards, which is weird too, because he's always a guy that's below 200 passing yards or kind of in there in the 200s. True. But then he'll always have insane accuracy with the deep ball. Right now he has 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Yeah,
not bad.
That's not too bad. I mean, compared to last year. I mean. You had
16 last year, right? Something like that.
Compared to last year, you have Colts Peyton Manning on your roster right now.
That's crazy.
Last year he had 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
Oh God, yeah, that's a season to forget. we don't want to forget that one.
Yeah, so
that was the only season he was below 20 touchdowns actually.
And we'll talk about this later. I have it in the trivia. We'll talk about it later. But what about the defensive side of the ball? Because I'm looking at odds for the defensive guys. Obviously, defense don't get no love. Are there any other names that stand out this year for you? I'll go to Julian because Julian is the most knowledgeable on the defensive side that maybe that could have been MVP running, but maybe for Depoy to stand out to you. I'll give you some.
It seems like. Hey, I'm looking at it now, and it makes sense. It seems like everything's going towards Micah Parsons to get it.
Yeah,
I mean, with the way Cowboys have been playing defensively outside of last night, I mean, Cowboys defense has been by far one of the best defenses in the league, and he's part of the reason for it. The guy is so dynamic, being able to pass rush, being able to play coverage, being able to play the run. He's a complete lineman. It has Myles Garrett at 2, which I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really seen very many Browns games, so good. I don't know. I would imagine he's playing well. I trust the people. If they're saying that he's top 3, I believe it. I've seen it, but I can't necessarily make an assumption he should be above Micah Parsons. I will say the odds are extremely close.
Browns is a top 5 defense, so I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They're playing, and usually if the defense is playing extremely well, it's usually a correlation that one of your star players is playing very well. So, but with the way, I mean, it's the Cowboys, the name, everything, all that recognition, like it's probably gonna. If you had to be a betting man, you probably have to put it on Micah Parsons because of that, barring anything else like insane Myles Garrett does at the end of the season.
Well, you can also compare, direct stats, like, who has the most sacks, tackles, drops, all that.
I feel like it's a little tougher. I feel like because there's so many other elements to it, that things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Like
you got to put pressures or quick releases.
Exactly.
Pressures is probably the best like stat to like really grasp anything, because like obviously quarterbacks are good at throwing it away or whatever, getting at like I've always found for at least defensive players, pressures and maybe like what's the word? Negative rushing yards. I can't, why am I drawing a blank
stopping,
on
like stopping yards? Like how you stop the run defense or run offense?
Negative play. I don't know why. I'm negative play. Yeah, basically getting a tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always the same names. The T.J. Watts. Let me go through the list.
Daniel Hunter.
Yeah, Daniel Hunter. Trey Hendrickson.
Who's had an amazing season. He's having. I think is he still leading the league in sacks?
No. I heard Gabe led the league in sacks once at one point, right, Gabe?
I'm not gonna entertain these jokes. God, no, I don't know.
Actually, T.J. Watt is the leader right now with 16.
16, but everybody's up there with 15 to 13. Montez Sweat is another name that's kind of been hanging around. How's Josh Allen doing on your Jags, man?
Josh Allen, incredible. The dude's been a dog. Like, rightfully so. He is, fifth on this list?
Yeah, I was going to ask if he's top 5.
Yeah, he's fifth on the list. Dude he's been an absolute game record. It's a contract year. Like, this is the best Josh Allen we've seen since his rookie year. His rookie year was amazing, but this was also his rookie year was kind of the last year of Jacksonville. So that line was still stacked. So he was able to get free and roam. This year, I would say, obviously, this year is way more impressive. One, he has way more sacks. Two, it's not like he has a lot of help on the other side. Trayvon Walker, honestly, has been kind of a bust for us in the pass rush department. He's been a decent run stopper, but not great as a pass rusher. I think he only has like 3.5 sacks, which for a number 1 overall pick is a little underwhelming. And then we don't really get much interior pressure. So for him to do what he was doing, I mean, if you guys watched the game last night, he was basically the main force on the defense that was stopping Lamar Jackson. Like, he was all over Lamar Jackson. He was the only one really getting hits on him. So Josh Allen, I think he rightfully deserves to be in that top 5. He's having a great season. He was second in sacks. Let me see where he's at now. He is fifth in sacks with 13.5. Yeah. So amazing season. He's going to get paid a lot of money. Obviously, it's more than just the sacks too. Like, he's just been really great. And like, he's got to be top 3 in pressures. Like, he has been just beating every guy they put in front of him. He's been playing out of this world. And especially, like I said, not having somebody on the other side has helped. He's been by far probably our MVP of the team, next to ETN. So,
all right. Well, speaking of the Jaguars, we're going to get into it anyways. But let's talk about your Jaguars last night playing tough matchup against the Ravens. And I'll let you go off on the Jags. And are the Jags pretenders?
Yes.
This year.
Every year.
All right. So, I came into this season having a lot of faith. We started off really strong. We're still having a good season. But we've now lost, 5 games in the last 6 or 7? I got to look at Gabe, you can look it up exactly.
3 games.
3 games in the last 5?
Yeah.
I think that's actually the stat. Yeah, 3 games in the last 5.
Lost Cincinnati overtime. You lost to Cleveland, lost to Baltimore.
Yeah, so now 3 straight losses. This was a team that you're hoping you can get the number 1 overall seed, the number 1 seed in the AFC. Last night pretty much put the nail in the coffin that that's not going to happen. I mean, if you wanted any shot at doing that, you had to beat the Ravens to get you within a game of the number 1 seed. But this is like a team where there's only been, that I can think of, 2 games where they genuinely played clean, looked dominant, and put away a game that they were supposed to put away. This team all year long has played either to the level of their opponent or worse, even in the games that they won. The only games I felt like they actually put it away was the Colts game and the Falcons game in London. But there was plenty of games where they should. I mean, you can even make an argument for last night. They went into the Ravens within the 40-yard line of the Ravens side of the field 5 times or something like that, and only came away with 7 points. It's inexcusable. You missed 2 field goals. You get the ball down to the 1-yard line right behind the right before the end of halftime, and instead of spiking the ball, Trevor decides to take the ball and throws it, and then we run out of time, and then we get no points. So you've lost potentially 9 points, for sure, probably 20 points left on the field. Then the turnovers. Then Trevor fumbles when we're in, like, I want to say the red zone on another drive. So, like I said, there's like 5 or 6 times. I don't know the exact number, but for sure 5 times we were in Ravens territory deep to score, and you only get 7 points. Is just unexcusable. And if you're a team that wants to be a playoff team, a title contender, against a team in the Ravens who are going to be a playoff team, they're probably going to be the number 1 seed. They're going to be a title contender, and you just fell flat on your ass. And the same thing happened when you played the Niners. The Niners was a test game. You should have beat them. I mean, not should have beat them. You got obliterated by them. You looked horrible. And then even the Chiefs game. Yeah. And then even the Chiefs game, that's a game you should have won. That was actually a game where you didn't look bad. Yeah. You should have won, but then you completely dropped the ball and you let the Chiefs come back. Until you can beat the guys who are going to be the actual people you're going to face deep into playoff season, deep into January, you can't, like, I've lost faith. Like, to me, like, you are pretenders. Like, you have to be able to push yourself and to get those results and not just beat up on teams that are on the bubble or in the hunt, or teams that are just, like, bad.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the Dolphins do.
Like, we beat teams above 500, but like, how good are really those teams? Like, we beat the Colts, we beat the Texans, we beat the Bills.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That was during the Bills' like tough streak. Like, so
the one advantage you have right now is that because you guys have head to head over those teams, so in your division. So
I mean, we have the division record, but like the division ended up being way tougher than we thought it was going to be. I thought the division was easily for the taking. Who would have? I didn't think C.J. Stroud. I figured he was going to be good, but I didn't think right off the gate. I didn't think Gardner Minshew was going to fucking come out of the grave and have Minshew mania and lead the Indianapolis Colts to one game behind or now I think we're all tied in the division race. So now there's so much pressure it's a 3-team race in the division. Now you're pretty much locked into that 4th seed because I don't see yourself. There's no way like everybody else is going to lose out and then you win you're probably going to win out because the teams that we're playing are terrible for the next couple of weeks. I want to say it's the Panthers, the Titans, and let me pull it up here.
You never know with the Titans, man. The Titans, came out strong last week.
You play the Bucks. You play the Bucks next
Dolphins.
Week, which is the Bucks could be a scary team to play. Yeah. Like, I mean, they're
don't sleep
out of nowhere, and you're at Tampa. Like
Mike
Baker,
Evans.
He will have like an incredible game out of nowhere. Who's to say that's not us? Like, I mean, that could happen. We lost to a backup quarterback in Cincinnati, and we lost to a backup quarterback in Cleveland. Granted, those teams were built way better and have better defenses, better play callers than what's going on in Tampa. But Tampa has proven that they can beat teams. I mean, I'm not scared of the Carolina-Tennessee games. Those are god-awful games. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't like – and then when I go down the field, like I was saying previously, like the best players on this team has been Etienne and it's been Josh Allen on the other side. I think the defense has played a lot better than I anticipated. I thought this team was going to be looking like the Dolphins. I thought this team was going to be just lighting up teams with points on offense, and that's how we're going to be winning it. But when you look at the schedule and how we won because of defense. Like the reason why they have 9 wins on the season or 8 wins on the season, a lot of it's due to the defense. The offense has been extremely underwhelming, partly because of the play calling, players not playing as good as they should be, like Ridley, like Lawrence. The offensive line has been atrocious. Lawrence, I mean, has been getting absolutely bullied back there, but I don't want to put all the blame on the offensive line because Lawrence hasn't really stepped up either. He's made a bunch of mistakes. I mean, he's costed us a lot. He costed us 2 scores this last night. And I'm starting to get worried that he might just be a good quarterback and not an elite quarterback.
Not a great
Time will tell, and we'll see. We've suffered from injuries. I mean, Zay Jones, who was one of our staple receivers, he was very he was off and on with injuries. Calvin Ridley, I think, just now is not playing up to what we expected him to. I don't think he's playing terrible, but I think we're starting to realize now that Calvin is a good number 2. I think we went into there thinking Calvin was going to be our number 1 guy, be the top 5 wide receiver. I think he's turning out to be a good number 2 wide receiver. I think part of the reason is because our offensive scheme and our new play caller for the first half of the season was playing. It looked like the Chargers, just dinking and dunking everything, playing horizontal, which I absolutely hate playing horizontal. You have a guy in Trevor Lawrence who's 6'8" or 6'6" who can fucking sling the ball. Why are we not slinging the ball? And then you have a wide receiver like Calvin Ridley, who is a vertical threat, not a horizontal threat. And we weren't doing it. And then the moment we started doing that, now you started to see Lawrence play better. Now you started to see Ridley play better. But now Ridley's kind of fell back into a hole again where he's not really playing as well. Trevor's banged up because the offensive line looks horrible. The offensive line has been going through a carousel of different players. So, like I said, the only remaining consistent player on the offense was Christian Kirk, but now he's out for the season. He's been a nice, consistent threat. And you had Etienne, who for some reason we tend to get away from him, but yet he's been our best offensive player. He's easily a top 5 wide running back in the league. He's great in the air. He's great on the run. I don't know why sometimes, even last night's game against the Ravens, they should have kept on running him. He was running really well in the beginning of the game. They were kind of...
That's where that play calling comes into play.
And the play calling has gotten better. It's gotten more dynamic and more vertical. But that first half of the season was atrocious. It was so bad. It was noticeably bad. So I think as of right now, how this season stands, I think they're pretenders. I think they can win a game, depending on who they come up against in the wild card. I think they need a get-right game. And I think these next 3 games is going to be a nice stretch to get yourself mentally. Because I think these are all games you should win. You should win out. Let's be real. You should beat the Bucks. You should beat Carolina, and you should beat Tennessee. Carolina's atrocious.
Yeah. No, I mean, you should beat Mayfield, man. He balled last game. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
it's still a Bucks team that's there. You're better than them at the end of the day. You should win that game. You should beat Carolina, and you should obliterate Tennessee, just like you did earlier this year.
I was gonna say, as far as this year, I still think it's still a successful season, even though it has been trashy. It's been maybe more down than up. Still, the last time you guys had a positive differential, win-loss differential, was 2017 with Doug Marrone. You guys went 10-6.
Yeah, in Saxonville. Saxonville.
And I understand, you feel the pressure too, because I feel like the window on Trevor Lawrence is closing. You had this bump in the road with Urban Meyer that year. It's kind of trash.
Set back a year.
Yeah, so his time is now. Now we need to be talking about, it's got to be Josh Allen to Trevor Lawrence. These guys got to step up. Herbert.
He's got to be better.
Yeah, they got to be better because that window is closing.
And don't get me wrong, you pay him. You don't get rid of him at the end of the day. The worst case, he's a good quarterback in this league. Worst case, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. If he plays out the rest of his career, he's not going to be a terrible quarterback. And I don't, after as much as I've seen every single snap he's played almost every snap he's played. He's going to be a good quarterback in this league. I think there's just so much hype around him being elite. And I still think he has the potential. It has to be cleaned up. It has to be, not even just that, but look how well he was scouted. I think he's the 3rd or 2nd highest scout ever out of college, only behind John Elway and Peyton Manning.
Wow.
So he's going to be a good. People were, and Andrew Luck, that's another, when he was coming out, remember, everybody was saying, we haven't seen a prospect like this since Andrew Luck. That was a bona fide, he was going to be good. And before Andrew Luck, it was Peyton Manning. Before Peyton Manning, it was John Elway. So I still think he's going to be good. I think you sign him, obviously. I don't think you get rid of him. He's going to be a great quarterback. I think the new offensive scheme and everything, I don't know. We'll see coming into next year. Regardless, we should be. I think we win a playoffs game this year. I do. I really do. I think they can advance. Being at home is a big deal. And I think they do win out the rest of this thing. I just don't know if they're the contenders I thought they were going to be. So...
Yeah,
yeah. You can see. Listen, I mean, you just lost faith in that dominance you thought you had. You guys are just a good team at this point, right? Now you got to make the statement, win the division. Anything can happen these last 3 games, right? I don't think any game's guaranteed at this point. We've seen upsets this whole season. Especially, can your team be successful under this pressure? Last 3 games, like you said, you got a 3-way tie right now. I mean, that's pressure.
Yeah.
Like that.
You have the advantage, but yeah, it's a 3-way tie.
Yeah, like so these games they're like playoff games for that division.
You can't sneak off and be like, oh, we're gonna sit Trevor this week. It's like, nah, yeah,
you have to win. I mean, like, not to call that out again, but the Titans had an upset over the Dolphins, high offense power team. I don't know how they pulled that off. And that's your division. You guys usually split. You never know what can happen. You got Baker Mayfield, who just had 3 touchdowns, has the most confidence in the world. You don't want a confident Baker Mayfield. Like that's the last person you want confident. He's gonna be taking shots down the field all game.
Game winners, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some game winning throws.
That's what he's gonna do. I forgot who your last team was. Oh, it's the Panthers. Yeah, you have to win that game, obviously.
Yeah.
But
it's the Bucks, Panthers, schedule. And then you end the season with the Titans.
Yeah. It's not the hardest schedule. You just, again, like you said, like can your team come in the clutch at the end? Like, and you want confident wins. You don't want that last game against the Titans, like a rocky win where you guys got lucky and it came down to the wire heading into the playoffs. Like, you don't want that either. A win's a win, obviously, but I feel like it's about how you're winning heading into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like you said,
I mean that's the whole thing with the season. Yeah. It's like we're winning, but was it dominant?
2 different teams, right? To throw Broncos in the mix, we were 1-5. We were already out of contention. At this point, I don't care what we do to get in. The point is to get in. For your team, you had higher expectations than us, and I feel like I said, like it's about how you win to get in. You don't want to squeeze your way in because you're not gonna be confident going to the playoffs with the caliber you had. So if you guys fix up your offense, I think you'll be straight.
No.
Yeah, I think really hurting Kirk is a big hit, and they need more out of Ridley. They need more, and they need more out of Trevor. Defensively, I think they're starting to fade away, but defensively they've been super strong for the most part this season. But I'm seeing them starting to slip a little bit. Hopefully, they can get back on track. But
I was gonna say this kind of
good.
This segues kind of into what we were talking about earlier about the AFC and overall. Like who gets into the AFC as we get closer and closer to the playoffs? Like who are the teams that you think will make it? Because these are teams in the hunt. Obviously, Jags are still in the hunt. Yeah. I mean, they have advantage in the division.
You have the standings and who's in the hunt right now in the division.
Yeah, I got it.
And whatnot. Let's get that visual up there so we can assess correctly.
I have the ESPN one. Actually, let me pull it back up.
I have it right here.
It also depends on who plays who, obviously, right? What those matchups are.
Yeah.
Who has the easiest schedule? Who are the tiebreakers? There's so much that goes on. This is like the best part of the season.
That's why I like
down to the wire.
The ESPN one will show you like who has advantage over West. Yeah. Like it'll tell you a little bit scenarios in case.
Yeah, I mean Broncos percent, man. If we won that last game, we had 85% making the playoffs. Now I dropped to like 26 to make the playoffs. Yeah.
Julian hit it on a playoff, so there you go.
There we go.
That's what I like to look at when I'm doing it.
So first seed, obviously, Baltimore Ravens. They just clinched the playoff berth last night. I don't know if you guys kind of want to go like down. So start from the number 1 seed and down. Like, all right, so like Baltimore, they're going up against the Niners. Tough matchup. If they lose that, it's going to be tough because the Dolphins do have the division record over them. I want to say division record is the first tiebreaker. I want to say.
Yeah, I'll look up the rules.
It is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. Not even conference. I think it's division records. And then first it's head-to-head, and then it's division records. So Baltimore loses the Niners. Miami could hop right over them and get in the first seed. So let's say the battle between the first seed is going to be between Miami and Baltimore. That's going to be tough. So what is Miami schedule looking like at the end of the
day? Playing?
Yeah, well, I know we're going to play the Cowboys. Let me see.
Oof.
All right, so I'm looking Dolphins, up. The Dolphins have the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills.
Holy shit! I mean, that Raven. There you go. That Ravens. So that could be probably gonna be it.
We shot the playoffs.
And the Ravens have the Niners, Dolphins, and Steelers. So both teams have gauntlets right here. So realistically, Kansas City could sneak in there.
Yeah.
If both teams decide to lose. So. Yeah.
I was gonna say right now, having Miami at number 2, I feel like Miami is gonna drop because I think we lost Kansas City obviously, but we have a tougher schedule, injuries. I feel like Miami is gonna slip. We could have with some easier wins this year. We could have secured that bye week, but I think Miami's dropping. We're dropping to 3 or 4.
I'm with Gabe here. I think Baltimore gets that first seed. I think Miami slips. I mean, what's been the story of the season is that the Dolphins can't be anybody that's tough, and until it's really going to come down to that Dolphins-Ravens game. So I personally see the Ravens winning that. They just seem like the more complete team that's been able to actually put away games. So I have them getting that because I think even if they lose that Niners game, Dolphins have the edge over them. They beat the Dolphins, then they have the head-to-head. Like I said, the Ravens could afford to lose that Niners game as long as they beat the Dolphins. And oh man, I don't see them losing to the Steelers at the end of the season.
Looking down the road, sorry, I don't even want to jump to the Broncos, but I get excited because I see Buffalo and Pittsburgh right above us, and the Dolphins. Is it the Dolphins that play both of them? No, it's the Ravens.
I know Miami plays them once. Plays the Buffalo Bills once.
You play Buffalo.
In Buffalo, yeah.
And Buffalo to end the season. It's the Cowboys, Ravens, and Buffalo.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so Jojo, who do you have?
I mean, I see Baltimore going number 1 overall. Again, like Miami right now, like you said, it's a rough patch right now. I think you guys, you're not feeling the most confident. Obviously, you just had a huge win, bounce back win, right? That Tennessee game is going to bite you guys in the ass. And then you have a gauntlet to end the season. I mean, but then again, this could be your proving grounds going into the playoffs. So there's another opportunity to show that you can beat good teams. You need to beat good teams, right? You guys are going to sneak in the playoffs and then do what? I mean, you need to win these games. Yeah. But I still think Baltimore is going to finish as the 1.
All right, Gabe, who do you got 2?
Number 2 is going to be either KC or Cleveland. I'm looking at Cleveland Browns schedule. The Cleveland Browns, they play Thursday night against the Jets, and then
it can't be the Browns.
I see him fighting up there. I see him fighting.
But Baltimore's got it locked in. The Baltimore's winning that division, and if Baltimore was the division, they can't. They're stuck at 5.
Well, probably then KC is going to be number 2, and then Miami's going to be fighting with Jacksonville, Cleveland for that other spot. But the Browns are going to go head to head against Cincinnati, so obviously they're going to be advantaged over one team over the other head to head. But yeah, I see Kansas City going up. Like Dolphins, they could easily be I feel like the Dolphins can easily be like 11-3 or whatever week there. Like there's games. A, you got to beat Tennessee. B, they could have. I feel like they could have. There was a chance to beat Kansas City once or the Bills that one game, but yeah, Dolphins are dropping. They're not going to get that bye week.
Yeah, I have KC hopping them and getting it 2 because KC, looking at they have the Raiders, the Bengals, and the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Chargers.
They're probably going to win out. Dolphins, I mean, just they're going to drop a game. Like I'd be surprised if they beat the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. Like if they went out, tough. I would be shocked. Tough. So just based off that, I have Kansas City hopping. I think Dolphins get 3rd. How about you, Jojo?
I agree. 100%.
All right. And then 4th, I think is Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville wins out. But I think 6 wins is a little too high to get into 3rd. I think 6 might be a little too tough because I think Miami and KC are both going to have 5 losses. So that's why I thought that game last night for the Jags was so important. And I think now they're pretty much locked it there. Don't get me wrong, you have Indianapolis and Houston to worry about, but just like I said, due to the way that schedule's lining up for the Jaguars, I see them winning out.
Jags can't sleep. Don't sleep on Tampa. 5. I think now is when it gets interesting. We go start going to 5.
Wait, so you have 4 too? You have Jags up 4?
They might be able to. They might drop.
If they win the division, yes. If they win the division,
depending on how they play this Tampa game, they might drop. I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs. It's just what number they're going to be.
I don't know. Houston right up the alley, bro. Houston's right there.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we all, as of right now, have Jacksonville at 4. If you had to be a betting man right now. All right. So then let's go into the wild card spots. So 5. I think Cleveland's a lock. I think they're going to get in there. I think Cleveland's going to be 5.
Now, mind you, they still have to play Cincinnati. Cincinnati coming in. Who was the quarterback for Cincinnati? What's this guy?
Browning. Browning.
Yeah. Is it Jake Browning?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds right.
He looked pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's been balling.
I don't want to say it's a lock, but I mean, also too, look at the Bengals division record is 0-4. Like, that's really bad. They're losing the tiebreaker there, and their conference record is 3-6. So they're losing every single tiebreaker unless it's a head-to-head. And even then, I think they lost their head-to-heads. They lost
every game they've lost is in their conference.
So, every game they lost. Yeah, they did lose to Cleveland. They got swept in the entire division,
the whole conference, division and conference.
So because of that and the game advantage, I think Cleveland just has the defense is going to play good enough to keep them afloat because of that. But we'll see. I mean, it's a little bit more open because this wild card is so open. I mean, you have
Cincinnati dropping out.
Every time I have Cleveland like that they're going to lose. Oh, Watson's gone on. They manage to keep on winning these games. So I'm like, I don't know what to think of them. Like, I just feel like they're getting in. Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati's out. I think those records hurt a lot. I think that really hurts a lot. I mean, 0-4 in the division, 3-6 in the conference. Like I said, you haven't beaten anybody in your conference, so you that's going to be tough. As for 6, I think Buffalo gets in. I think Buffalo does what needs to be done. I think Buffalo beats Miami. I think Buffalo beats Miami that last week of the game.
Against Dallas.
James Cook is cooking. The dude is moving. He's starting. Well. I think Buffalo is finally, for the first time in like years, starting to have a balanced offense and a guy who can actually run the ball. And that's scary because the one thing you always relied on with the Bills is that Josh Allen was going to make a mistake. But now if you limit the amount of times the ball's in Josh Allen's hands and you keep on giving it to this guy who's this bruiser who will run it right up the middle and just take on 5 dudes and get a touchdown, that just makes Buffalo more scary. And you're playing Buffalo at like going to play at Buffalo is tough. Ask the Cowboys. I think they get in. And since he gets bounced.
All I say is that if the Bills make the playoffs, which they probably are, I don't think anybody actually wants to play them, no matter what their record says.
No one wants to play the Bills. It's a team you don't want to get in. You don't want them to get in. I don't want them to get in. Because I think there's a good chance we play them. Like, I mean, we beat them, but we beat them in London. We would be at home. And I'm not totally scared of the Bills. Like, I think the Bills is definitely a beatable team, but they're going to be the best team in the wild card for sure. Scariest team.
We beat the Bills, and I'm scared to play them again if we had to. Like, I mean, it's a tough game.
The Bills have 3 winnable games. They're going to play at Los Angeles this week. At Los Angeles, they're going to play New England at home, and then they'll play at Miami. So I mean,
which
winnable
Los Angeles?
Games. The Chargers. I'm sorry, the Chargers. But that's a winnable game. Like they just fired their coach.
All right, so I have Bills. Bills and Cleveland. What are you guys' 2? And then we'll end it off on the 7th seed.
I mean, damn. Bills and Cleveland. Wait, what's Cleveland's remaining schedule?
They play Cincinnati, and they also play. What did I say? Let me go back. I had to hit the back.
I got it right here. So they play the Texans. They play the Texans this weekend, right before Christmas Eve, and then they play the Jets and Bengals. So they can afford to lose that Texans game, but I think they beat the Jets and Bengals.
Yeah, gotta win though. AFC.
And even that Texas game is a beatable game. That's a winnable game.
I'm trying to think down the road for Denver what benefits them. Cleveland continue to win, or Houston needs to lose, or
what do you think is going to happen though? Who's your two that like if you not being a unbiased Denver fan, who do you think is going to?
I mean, listen, that game. So you got a high-powered defense with Cleveland going against Houston. I think that game's going to be really interesting. I don't know how Cleveland's winning, but
I think they get. I think they get in this.
Yeah, I think they're already. They have the advantage right now. Division record 3-2, conference 6-3. They're 9-5. Last 3 games, they're probably going to win 2 out of 3. I see them there.
All right, and then your 6 is who?
6.
Bills.
Who does Indy play? I need to know.
Good question.
I need to know because they're above Buffalo. We're going straight to Buffalo, but there's 2 teams above Buffalo right now.
Indy plays Colts. I mean, oh my God, Indy plays the Falcons, the Raiders, and then this is going to be a big matchup: the Texans.
Oh, so like, damn, those 6, 7, 8.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody
can hop each other. There's
6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Honestly,
there's a lot of head-to-head, so people can jump people.
You know? So
a lot of division
I know
matchups.
You're asking us to project 7 and 8 right now.
No, 6. Just give me a 6. Give me your top 2, and then I'll go with my 7.
I can't give you 6. I'm gonna say Buffalo and Denver pop up. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh man.
Okay. Then we'll save your last spot. All right. So we won't say the order, but we'll say who gets in the wild card. Gabe, who's your 2?
I think we're gonna pop up.
On the bottom of the list.
No, just the wild card spot. You got who's your 2 in the wild card, and then we'll end with our last spot in the wild.
I'll go Buffalo. Man, I really like Houston. I like Houston. Some about Houston, man.
Yo, Houston could go for the division, so who knows?
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be the Broncos. I just looked up an article. They're saying the Broncos need to win outright. There's 5 scenarios that the Broncos make it to the playoffs.
Schedule. We look at the next.
I just looked at it. Yeah,
Pats Chargers.
The Broncos schedule is pretty easy,
so we can win out. Is what I'm saying.
I'll see it when I believe it. How about that? We'll come in next.
So you got the Bills, and then who? You got the Bills in your last one, and then your Bill. What's your 2? You had the Bills and what?
I'll go Houston over Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's dropping.
Yeah.
All right, so you got the Bills and Houston. All right.
I can see that.
So now we'll go to the last spot. Yeah.
This is tough.
So now the last spot, I think Pittsburgh is knocked out. I think Baltimore is going to beat them. I think 8 games is going to be too much. 8 losses is going to be too much. Obviously, I said Cleveland and Buffalo get in. I think Cincinnati gets out.
Yeah.
I think, man, that Indy-Houston game is a big matchup. But, Houston has lost games to teams who aren't good. Houston lost to Carolina. You know what I mean? Houston has had some bad losses. Like, they're not they're beginning. Look, CJ Stroud has been playing amazing.
Be healthier.
They've been getting a little overhyped. Like, they've been losing some pretty bad games.
With the healthy CJ Stroud, I would feel more confident with the healthy CJ Stroud. I don't know where he's at in the protocol.
For my final spot, JoJo's gonna like this. I got Denver going in. I think that schedule is really to their favor. I think Houston and Indy having to play each other. Who does Houston have? Who's Houston?
That's what I'm saying. From 5 to 8 and 5 to 9, you have a lot of these teams playing each other.
So Houston's playing the Browns, they're playing the Titans, and then they end with the Colts. Houston, there's a possibility they can lose to the Browns and they can lose to the Colts. The Broncos, they have none of these guys they have to face. Every team they're playing is teams that have nothing to play for.
No.
And because of that,
and we beat Cleveland. And we beat Buffalo ahead of us. So if it came down to any tiebreakers or whatever,
the Patriots, the Chargers, the Patriots are terrible. The Chargers fired their coach, and Herbert's out for the season with an ACL. And then the Raiders also fired their coach, and who knows who's playing quarterback over there. Like, it's literally for the Broncos for the taking. Like, I think everybody else has to go through the gauntlet and play each other or play teams better than them. And Denver just seems like the safe bet to me to get in. So I have Cleveland, Denver, and Buffalo. Shake it up however you want it. Don't matter. They're going to be wild card teams.
Let's get it.
And then who's your guys' final team?
Man, I don't want the Broncos to win it. You know what? I'll give
you had the Bills and who? Yeah, the Bills.
Houston. There's something about Houston. I mean, as we record this, CJ Stroud's still on Monday. CJ Stroud's still in the pro.
So yeah, the Bills and Houston. Who's your final team?
I guess I got to go Denver because I'm not going to go fucking Raiders.
I'm surprised you got the Browns losing 3 straight.
No, I think they're going to be up there. They'll be up there.
Because if you have the Bills, I got
Cincinnati and Indy dropping out. I got Houston and Buffalo going up. So
okay, so you have Houston, Buffalo, and Cleveland. You think Cleveland's in there?
Yeah, Cleveland's in there.
All right, and then JoJo, you had
Cleveland, Buffalo, Denver.
All right, and then I had Cleveland, Buffalo, Denver. All right, so we were the same. All right, well, that's our playoff picture. So, yeah, I mean, I had Ravens, KC, Miami, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Denver. And JoJo's was the exact same. Gabe's only difference is he has Houston going in over Denver.
Yes,
the only way Houston's going in over Denver is if they take the division. That's it.
It's possible. Anything is possible.
I don't know because they can win out, and if the Jags win out, they can still make it
because of the tiebreaker.
Let's talk about. I'm sure Gabe is itching to talk about this. We're going to transition over to America's pastime.
All right.
The biggest contract in American sports, Shohei Ohtani, has a record-breaking deal, 10 years, $700 million.
Insane.
But just news came out a couple of days ago. They're deferring $680 million of it after 10 years.
Yeah.
So then he's only making $2 million a year for the next 10 years with it. And I have an article here that kind of breaks it down like pretty well. So it's called the Andrew Friedman clause. And basically, Ohtani agreed $680 million of his $700 million deal with the Dodgers to be deferred, as that the annual competitive balance tax, or aka luxury tax, the Dodgers is expected to be around $46 million. For players' long-term contract, their exact salary is given season and is not what's relevant. For instance, a player on a 2-year, $20 million contract who's paid $5 million 1 year and $15 in year 2 is nevertheless a $10 million CBTA hit. So in Ohtani's case, his average annual value is not $70 million a year over the next 10 years, but something like $46 million because of those massive deferrals spread across many years. Another example is Matt Scherzer. He signed a 7-year contract worth $210 million with the Nationals in 2015. That's $30 million a year on average. However, Scherzer agreed to defer half his salary each year, which lowered the present-day value to approximately $185 million. That lowered his annual CBT hit to $26.4 million or so. So also Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman both have substantial deferrals. Yeah. The Dodgers have $267.2 million on payroll for CBT purposes. In 2023, the franchise record was $297 million in 2015. The Mets right now hold the all-time record at $366 million.
They have so many players that they're paying after retirement right now.
Yeah.
So
they have too many. So what you're saying?
So he's going to make and then that money's going to get deferred from 2034 to 2043.
So in other words, the Dodgers are finessing, and they're recruiting the world's best talent. And
I don't want to hear anything from you, JoJo. I don't want to hear anything from you.
I'm not against it. Don't listen. They're the West Coast Yankees.
Yeah,
That's what we do. And they figured it out, right? Now the only thing we're gonna get into
the West Coast Yankees. That's how the Giants used to be like that.
We're gonna get into the baseball things of how many times the Dodgers can win 100 games and lose in the first round, but that's another conversation. Yeah. I think it's shout out to LA. I mean, Yankees, we don't have to see them. We don't have to worry about them. We'll see you in the World Series. But for Shohei's sake, I mean, let's talk contract. I think he deserves it. Now, did I think he was actually going to get the $700 million? No, that's only because of his injury. And I thought that would lower his value. Yeah. But I mean, I guess the teams, they like what they see. I'm not going to say like they love what they see. He's getting paid to play two positions. So he 100% deserves that money. If it's a question if he deserves it, no, not at all. Like he's done it all. Like leading the league
in home run. He's a unicorn.
Like when it's ridiculous. I'm bought in.
Yeah.
It's a once in a generation talent. I seen him pitch live. I seen him close World Baseball Classic championship, striking out his teammate.
Yeah.
Top
5 baseball player ever, Mike Trout. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even. Oh my God, I lost train. Go ahead, Gabe. I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought.
I mean, I kind of saw this news. I knew this was kind of coming. Jojo, I don't know if he thought, because you always hear these trade rumors. Oh, the Rangers are interested. Oh, the Yankees are interested. Oh, the Marlins are interested. I'm like, yes, of course, is the best baseball player in the last 175 years. Of
that was what I was going to say.
Everybody's
talent.
interested. Yeah. Everybody's
probably
interested.
The greatest talent to ever grace the baseball field.
It's not news to say a franchise is interested in him. What would be interesting is where is he actually going to go? And I always in my mind with these Japanese players, I always assume that they're always going to stay on the West Coast, right? Because they like to stay close for travel. It's easier to travel from the West Coast to Japan than New York, let's say.
Yeah.
So I always figured he'd stay on the West Coast, whether it be Seattle or San Diego or
San Francisco.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't a big shocker, obviously, and I don't know if you saw Jojo. There's controversy. There's pictures of him when he won the award. He was taking picture with his dog. His translator was like when he won his award this year. They didn't want to say the dog's name because the dog's name was the name Dodger. It was the name of the team he was actually interested in. They were like, "Hey, who's that cute dog you're taking a picture with?" They're like, "No, we don't want to say the dog's name."
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Don't disrespect my culture.
Yeah. And then also want to bring up too, just looking at the structure, because recently they just extended Glasnow, the pitcher, Tyler Glasnow. So he's extended to 29. Mookie Betts got extended to 2033. So those are like the 4 biggest contracts. I'm surprised that Freddie Freeman is still. He has through 2028. He signed for $162 million. So those are like the biggest contract besides Ohtani. It's gonna be Mookie Betts, Tyler Glasnow, and Freddie Freeman, which is pretty shocking.
And here's another thing to consider. A lot of people don't think about, especially if you like only kind of stay in like American sports bubble. And like one thing I've learned from like watching soccer and how international it is like people don't understand like this isn't just Dodgers signing him for $700 million is not about the sporting aspect of it. It's about the fact that they can sell millions upon millions of Dodgers jerseys in Japan, a market that is very rich, very wealthy, and will spend the money, and in a country that loves baseball. I see it all the time in soccer. Like, for example, Christian Pulisic, you guys know him, America's hero, America's soccer player. When he signed with AC Milan's jersey sales went up by like 500%. And this is an AC Milan team that's one of the most historic sports brands in the entire world in history of sports. Like, you can pull up that logo anywhere around the world and people know that name. And even that name was able to increase his jersey sales because of the fact that you brought in basically the biggest soccer star in America. So imagine that, but times 100. It's like, I mean, shit, we're seeing it here at Inter Miami. How many fucking Inter Miami jerseys, not even just being sold here in America, but like fucking worldwide. So it's like the Dodgers, the $700 million is probably nothing to them compared to how much they're going to market the shit out of him in Asia.
Oh,
so it's like,
I mean, even just LA, like I know he was in LA technically, but I still feel like it's a bigger market. You're in the Dodgers, you know what? Like
he was in Orange County.
You know what I mean? They recently won in 2020. Listen, I wonder how much pressure that front office had to sign him. The way the Yankees, Cashman, and our team had a shit ton of pressure to sign Soto because we had to make changes. Like, this is the longest drought we've ever had. And again, for the Dodgers to put in perspective, have one of the best teams assembled right now in the MLB, and of course came up short yet again.
Probably
how many 100?
I mean, maybe.
How many 100-win seasons are you going to have that you're losing in the playoffs? Too many. And with your payroll, like honestly, like you got to win World Series.
And you know what's crazy too?
You need to win World Series.
Man doesn't even have to leave. He can stay in the same damn house.
I'm saying.
I mean, he's
just going to the county over. He's going to LA County instead of Orange County.
It's the smart move. I was not shocked when I heard LA. Like as a baseball fan, I'm like, makes sense to me.
No.
I mean,
and LA's getting desperate. They like you said, like constant disappointment. It's like, all right, shit, we got to see the biggest player in the probably one of the history of the sport. I did want to. Oh, Gabe, say what you say, and then I'll
I was gonna say, as far as you mentioned earlier about marketability. I mean, as far as players who cross over, not just in baseball, who are just big in baseball, but who just cross over internationally, who cross over culturally, I guess, in U.S. sports culture. Only name I can think of is Ichiro. There's been a lot of great Japanese players, but like when you have freaking the Babe Ruth of Japan, like, I mean, you'll sign him for whatever.
Baseball. He's probably gonna. Let's not kid ourselves. He is by far a better player than Babe Ruth.
Yeah, way better. Yeah, 100%.
We can agree. All right.
He is the greatest talent to ever touch a baseball. I firmly believe it.
A baseball mound, a baseball player.
I can't argue that. Yo, check this out.
Giancarlo Stanton has a 300, mind you, not stats, talent.
Giancarlo Stanton has a $300 million contract to DH most of his time with the Yankees. So he's a DH essentially, but the best pitcher in the league as well.
Yeah.
So if Giancarlo get paid $300 million and this guy can rake better than Giancarlo right now and be the best pitcher in the league, you deserve that $700 million. You put in twice the work. So
I do have an interesting question. Do you think if he wasn't Japanese, he would get that much money?
What do you mean?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't
think so either.
In this sense, I don't think culture or where your background affects your gameplay. Like Mike Trout.
No, I'm saying, do you think if he was American, he would get that much money? I think no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was getting to the point. If Mike Trout was a best pitcher in the league doing what he does, 100% Mike Trout would get offered that contract.
No, you think he will get the same money? I don't think he would. I think being Japanese and having that other market makes you way more profitable as a player. Like I just don't see Mike Trout getting sold like that in Asia like Shohei Ohtani is. And I think
you're saying that's something as an advantage for being from Japan.
I think it's an advantage for him to be Japanese and make that much money. I think an American player would not get as paid as much as he did. Because I think people underestimate how like big that is and how marketable it is to have a player like that. Like you're talking about an entire, and not even just any market, a humongous market, a massive market that has a very good economy and has the second best baseball league in the world. For sure. Actually, like the team that the country that just won the World Baseball Classic, the best team in the world. Like I feel like that's actually to his advantage. Like I don't think an American player would get as much money as he did.
Yeah, and mind you, he's 29 right now, so this is probably his last contract. By the time the contract ends, he becomes a free agent.
He'll be 700 million.
Yeah, he's gonna
get another 10-year contract.
Veteran minimum after the 10-year.
Yeah, he's gonna be 39.
So this contract. 500 mil for 1 year.
This is the question I want to ask. So, do you think he is the face of baseball now?
I think he's been the face of baseball. Yes. If you love baseball, he's been the face of baseball.
I can say that. Listen, man, I love my guy Aaron Judge. the captain, face of the Yankees. We haven't done shit in the playoffs. We have no World Series titles. We don't have anything yet. And he doubled Judge's contract. Let's put that in perspective. Judge is top 5 player in the league, who's arguably was the face of the league, along with Mike Trout as well. But no, it's Ohtani's world right now. It's Ohtani's world. Like this
and
is
even
it.
I would say even
he
here
just won the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
He what he doesn't have are playoff wins. He's probably gonna get some now, being in LA. Most likely. So
when you pitch a game and they're like, "Hey, don't go nowhere, just go to left field, go to right field because we need your bat," bro. That's how important you are. Usually, guys, they end of the game, they're done for 6 days. They're like, "No, what? You go to right field, and then tomorrow you're gonna hit tomorrow DH because your bat's too important to us." That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know the thing too, it's like, yeah, I mean, even people who don't watch baseball like that in this country, where baseball is a major sport, like even people, they'll be like, I know Ohtani. Yeah. I think the 2 names that come up is Ohtani and Judge. I know plenty of people who don't watch baseball, but they know those 2 names. And I would say Ohtani's by far probably the bigger name, especially when we consider everything I said before with the whole Asian market and everything. Like he is the face of baseball, which made that statement that what's his name said 2 years ago just so stupid. It's like, dude, you don't have
Stephen A. Stephen A. Yeah, that he said he can't be.
It's such an ignorant thing to say. It's
I saw that live. I was actually watching that segment live, and I had a feeling that he was gonna get pushback afterwards. And I'm here like, what do you like? He's one
Who's
of
the first player you think of when I say soccer?
Baseball fans, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel. Like you just talk baseball. Like, you trickle in baseball every now and then.
That's not his beat. Baseball is not his beat.
You know what I mean? Like
don't talk about it, man. That's the thing I don't like.
I was like, bro, I can tell you really don't watch baseball. Yeah. Like to say that, he can't be the face of the league because he was on the cover of MLB The Show, and now you need guys like Mike Trout and this and that. They all had their chance.
Yeah.
Like
MLB trying to push Mike Trout for forever since he came into fucking league. They've been trying to push.
He's not entertaining. Mike Trout is not entertaining.
He's so boring.
Like he's
not charismatic.
Bryce Harper's a better face of the name than
Bryce Harper.
And the thing too is like
in the playoffs, he's getting his name right back out there. The phenom. He was a 17-year-old phenom. Came in hot. And unfortunately, didn't work well with the Nationals. Philly had a chance. They made it to a World Series, and you saw Bryce's name everywhere.
And they love him. They love him in Philly. Yeah.
So,
and the thing too is, it's such an ignorant thing to say. Just like it's just such a American-minded thing to say because, like I said, I say soccer. Who's the first person you think of?
I mean, Messi, Ronaldo, right? Like that's
exactly. I say fucking Argentina. I say Argentina. What do you think?
I mean, Messi.
The first thing that comes to your mind, exactly. Like the idea that just because he doesn't speak English or whatever, like this dude is an incredible talent. Like, I mean, maybe now he's better, but I think at the time that was the biggest thing was that he couldn't. I mean, shit. Look at the UFC. Like,
how many international players, bro? If this guy's a college professor teaching English, okay, judges English, but this motherfucker, you talk with a bat, okay? This motherfucker talks with his arm and his bat, like.
And let's be real. How many voices? I was gonna say, let's be real too. How many of you could pin out like a famous football player or baseball player's voice and like without looking at their face? Be honest with you, I have no fucking clue. I could if Joe Burrow could be right behind me talking, I'd probably have no idea. I would generally probably have no idea. I can't think of what his voice sounds like. Some people that I'm close to, people not close to, but like I follow, like Trevor Lawrence, I would recognize his voice immediately. But like, I don't know Mike Trout's fucking voice. Like, I don't know Mookie Betts' voice. Like, I don't know it at the top of my head. Maybe when I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like him. Yeah. But like, come on. It's
all I'm saying is now imagine if the Angels made the playoffs and actually made a World Series run. Do you think this contract value, with everything he's done, would be higher? You think he could surpass that $700 million, or that was it?
Nah, maybe.
We're more looking at his talent, right? We're not really looking at his like.
700's a lot, dude.
We all know like the organization that really set him up for success.
I think
I don't think
always with these contracts, because always the contracts move. So like right now it sounds big and splashy. Like 2 years ago, Patrick Mahomes was the highest paid, and then guess what? Joe Burrow came out. Joe Burrow's the highest paid, and guess what? Lamar Jackson highest paid. Like every year is that number is every year is going to be the highest paid.
Here's the one thing I will say that's different.
Back to my point too, because wait, real quick, in baseball, you're not really rewarded off your team's success, which I kind of like. They're not going to hold against you like you don't have any playoff wins. They do that in basketball. They do that in football. They do that in every sport. They don't really do that in baseball because they know it's bigger than you. Like you're playing with 9 guys.
Yeah,
it's
you have a pitcher. There's only so much you can do. That's why those individual stats come into play. And
that's why you really win loss on a pitcher doesn't count, because the pitcher's not batting 9 times in an inning or 9 times in a game, unless you're Shohei Ohtani, which you are hitting. Which you can help yourself by hitting home runs.
I would also say too, like I don't think it's going to be broken for a long time, maybe, because one, there's nobody in the MLB at least
2 ways
now or in the foreseeable future where you'll see a guy like Ohtani who can do both and make that much money. And also
it's not about doing both. It's about being the best in both as well. Like
but it's already hard enough to be the best hitter, but also to be the best pitcher at the same time is incredible.
Well, then also too, but what I'm saying too is then you also take in the fact that he's international. So it's like you got to hit all those things. Like I said, like I don't know if like with the way baseball currently is, like you need that international help.
All I have to say on top of this, biggest story in the market besides Yankees signing Juan Soto, because that's right up there with Shohei, is we are pursuing another Japanese player, Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Who is, I think, a four-time MVP in his league. We're trying to sign him to a massive contract. So we are making big moves. In the past, we did have Tanaka as well, at the time best Japanese pitcher in the league, which unfortunately we didn't have too much success in the playoffs with the Yankees during that time because we won our draw. Like 100%, like they gave him the biggest contract for a pitcher coming into the league at the time. So they have the talent level over there is insane.
The Japanese league is very, very good. There's a lot of money. A lot of those guys are really good. There's a massive academies. Like there's a reason why they've won so many World Baseball Classics. And you got to think that World Baseball Classic on that Japanese team, a lot of those players were Japanese league players.
Yeah.
Like they had MLB players, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of those players were played in the Japanese league. That Japanese league is very good. And I would not be, I don't know, like to the level, I don't follow it at all, but like I wouldn't be shocked if the Japanese league could compete in the MLB. I might be stupid for saying that, but like after what I saw the World Baseball Classic, what I see out of these players coming out of that league, who's to say that like the best teams in the Japanese league can't compete in the MLB? I think it's possible.
It's possible. They definitely play a very different style of baseball.
Like what would you rather take the best pitcher in Japan or get a number 1 overall draft pick?
Depend. I would say
I'm taking the Japanese player. Japanese player.
If you have an that's kind of hard. That's like for anything. Would you take the best player in another league or a draft pick who's coming out of, I don't know, potentially high school? Like, I mean, it's.
Well, I'm talking about, but if you're talking about a number 1 draft pick in the MLB, is most likely going to go straight into the MLB. I think your odds of getting a guy who's proved it in a professional league, let's be real, it's a higher quality than college baseball.
Well, that's
college baseball
saying.
To the majors is a big jump. I would taste my chances bringing, like, you see what the Yankees are doing. I'll take my chances bringing a guy like that.
Any sport, you would probably take someone who's proven himself over a draft pick.
Well, basketball's starting to follow suit. Basketball wasn't always like that. There was a lot of question marks if you take a European player. Nowadays, you almost want to get the European player because he's more battle tested.
Yeah, I think the last couple of MVP runs has only been international players.
Jokic, Embiid, all these
Giannis. To answer your question, Julian, that's hard to say, right? Because you never know what they'll do in the profession, right? You never know what they'll do in the MLB until they actually play, right? What you're saying is like proven track record. Yes, this player did well against other Japanese players as an adult. Will he do good? That's never guaranteed. I'll probably take the Japanese player just because of maturity, just because of older age. It's hard for a 17-year-old to face whoever.
All right.
Now or yeah.
Listen, and just to throw in a topic, look, I know we support the Japanese organizations and everything, but obviously we can't forget about these other countries where the talent level is coming from. I mean, we're talking Dominican Republic,
Korea too,
Puerto Rico, Korea. Venezuela. I mean, Venezuela made a deep run. I mean, Mexico was on the map this year in the World Baseball Classic too.
I think the one disadvantage though is
a lot of international talent. A lot of international.
I think the one disadvantage.
Caribbean World Series, Caribbean Series coming into play in February. So
I think the one disadvantage those countries have is not having a very stable, high quality domestic league. I think that's the one thing that hurts them is not having Korea obviously has a strong league, but that's the one thing with the Latin countries is those leagues aren't as strong. So they have to come over here super, super young.
So I'll be honest. Listen, I know Japan, and it might sound a little biased. Japan has the most World Baseball Classic tie. They have 3. DR has 1, and USA has 1, if I'm not mistaken. I still think with the talent level with these teams that are combined in World Baseball Classic, like DR is probably by name the best team in the nation, Dominican Republic. If you see the talent they have, the MLB talent. Unfortunately, obviously they didn't win this last one, I thought
Venezuela was.
Venezuela this year.
Venezuela was.
They're really showing out. They've shown out this year. But I feel like Dominican Republic, year after year, their talent level in the MLB and obviously in DR, it's just insane. Like when you see those lineups, I think people shit themselves. they shit the bed looking at those lineups.
But I mean, you look at that Japanese bullpen. I mean, a lot of those were Japanese league pitchers, and they were able to get it done. I think the biggest thing is the depth. I think when a lot of those other countries, you're pulling from the guys that are just in the MLB because very rarely do you really want to pull a guy that's playing in those leagues. I mean, it happened. Don't get me wrong. You saw it in Nicaragua, like that one kid, he was able to get an MLB contract because of what he did in there. But I think having that secondary league where you can pull pieces out of, especially from a bullpen standpoint, is pretty big. And I mean, it looks like it worked. But you guys ready for some trivia time?
Oh, we haven't done trivia. I know, man.
Some trivia.
I got a couple of good trivias. I'm actually fixing it right now. But
all right, I'll start off with mine. I have 10 questions. You guys alternate. Whoever gets the most points wins. I really like these. It's a mix of what we talked about today: NFL playoffs.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And MLB contracts and how much guys got paid. So they're to your level this time. So I think you guys should get these. Every single player that's in the answer. Every player, every league. So there's no like oddballs from like the 1960s or whatever the fuck. Like,
okay,
no guessing. Like you. All right. So I have a number between 1 and 10. What is it, Gabe?
3.
Jojo?
5.
7. Jojo goes first.
All right. Let's go. I'm counting now.
All right.
Got it.
All right. I have the score too over here as well. All right. Jojo, which 2 teams have appeared in the Super Bowl together the most times?
Wow. Together.
Like playing against each other?
Yes, playing against each other multiple times.
There's 2 teams?
Who's done it the most? Yeah, the matchup. Which Super Bowl matchup happens the most?
Giants, Patriots.
No. Gabe?
I'm going to go Chargers, 49ers.
That's really random, but it is the Steelers, Cowboys. They've placed each other 3 times in the Super Bowl.
So wait, Giants, Patriots was only 2 times?
Yes. Supposedly.
I was hoping there was.
The Giants. The last time the Giants win will probably be like in the 70s. If they made a playoff run,
who did they play? I don't know who they played.
The Eagles or some. You gotta look at some old franchise. All right. What's the next question?
Steelers good. All right. Gabe, this is your turn.
Yeah.
For a tie in the NFL playoffs, how long is each overtime period?
For a tie, how long is the overtime period?
How long is the overtime period?
In a regular season?
Playoffs. In the playoffs.
It's 10 minutes. It's like 10 to 12 minutes. I'll say 10.
JoJo, it's your chance to steal.
8 minutes.
Gabe is wrong.
8 minutes.
You're also wrong. It is 15 minutes in the playoffs for overtime.
Damn, they give extra time?
Yeah, in the regular season, it is 10 minutes.
I've seen 10 before. I don't know if they shortened it in the playoffs, but obviously I was wrong.
I think they made it longer back when they first did when they changed the playoff rules recently. All right, JoJo. 0-0 for both of you guys. All right. In which season was the Minneapolis Miracle completed, sending the Vikings to the NFC Championship?
I got to do some math.
The Vikings? Okay. Say it one more time. Let me hear it one more time.
Well, all right. I'll say it again.
Okay, hold on. I understood the question. I'm just trying to do math. I know it's like 6 or 7 years ago. I'm going to say 2017.
JoJo is correct. It was a 2017 season, which that's what I was actually looking for. Not the year. It was actually 2018, the year in January, but it was a 2017 season, which is correct, which is actually what I was looking for.
I had to do some math real quick.
JoJo's got one.
And you know how I know that? Because I was watching SportsCenter the other day, and someone was talking about it. So that's why I had the year in my head.
I was wondering if you guys were going to remember. It took me a minute after I read that question. I'm like, oh, that game, the last minute for
Wasn't it against the Broncos?
No, it was the NFC.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It was against the I don't remember. Anyways, all right. Gabe, this is your question. Which NFL team has the longest playoff drought?
See, this was my question. It's the Jets. 13 years.
Wow.
And bonus point.
I'm correct. You got to say I'm correct.
How long has it been?
13 years. It's been 13 years.
Oh, you said 13 years. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he said 13 years.
Did I miss that? Oh, I completely missed that.
That was going to be my stat of the day. That was actually going to be my stat, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I knew that.
Oh, so Gabe cheated.
I didn't cheat. I knew. What the fuck?
He looked up the answers. All right, JoJo. This is now to baseball. All right. Which free agent received the longest guaranteed contract in MLB history?
Shit, guaranteed? I don't even.
Well, I think I could guess.
Damn.
He's a current player. That is your hint.
Damn. Why are you giving hints?
I mean, no, I figured there's they one-upped each other every year, just like the damn NFL, bro. Damn, there's a few out there. You got Judge, you got Mookie Betts, you got.
I'm talking about years. How long they are.
I'm thinking years. Give me Mike Trout.
Incorrect. Gabe, your chance to steal.
Wow. I was gonna say Pujols, but that's not an answer.
What?
Pujols? The longest contract? How many times?
That wasn't pretty. I want to say it was like 10 years, but
bro, majority of the long contracts are 10.
Yeah, most of these are 10. Yeah,
13 and up. That's what I'm looking for. I have a second guess if Gabe is wrong. Let me guess again.
No, you missed. No, I'll let you guess, but no point.
I'll guess, but I won't get the point. That's fine.
Yeah. I'll say Mookie Betts.
Incorrect, JoJo, for your
Giancarlo Stanton.
Also incorrect. The answer is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Really?
14 years, $340 million. 14 years is the record.
Who the hell signed a 14-year
Second
contract?
is Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge with 13 years.
13. See, I knew it.
They tied for 13. Second. All right, so both of you guys, zilch.
Yo, Tatis 14, and he's like 22. Yeah, they got him from the long haul.
This is a tie. You get 1 point if you get one of them correct. If you get both of them correct, that's 2 points. Or JoJo, or if you get the second one incorrect, JoJo can take either both of these points or one of them, or take one of them.
You're just gonna give him a question worth 2 points.
Right.
Like what the?
They get my other 2 points for guessing the year. They get 2 points for that.
No, take that back.
No. All right, what we got?
Who is the MLB's highest paid player by salary in the 2024 season coming up?
Ooh, by salary. Gabe's not going to get this.
I bet you it's a pitcher.
Could be.
Let me think of expensive contracts on teams around the league.
Their 2024 salary
2024 salary. Who's owed the most? Who's a big ass contract that nobody wants?
That's true.
It's 2 answers. They're tied.
That's
so
true.
If you can get one of them.
You got 10 seconds, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just guess Freddie Freeman because I just looked at this guy. Freddie Freeman. Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Incorrect. JoJo.
Give me Aaron Judge. Here. Aaron Judge.
What's your second answer?
My second answer?
Remember, they're tied.
I know. Giancarlo.
Incorrect. Both of you guys are incorrect. Gabe was right on track with the pitchers. It is Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander.
Why was I thinking that?
I told you I bet the pitcher.
The Mets had the highest salary, and they got rid of their 2 highest paid players because
the Rangers.
Wow.
Their salaries are $43.3 million for the 2024 season.
And both their names popped in my head.
Nah, they didn't pop.
Zilts. We're tied 1-1 still, boys. I thought you'd get these, man. All right.
It's tough, man. These contracts.
I don't look at the contract.
Yo, these teams are just throwing money nowadays. I don't know who's getting
fake money. It's funny money, bro.
It's just these are you gotta think about it. All right.
I know the players. That's good though. Yeah. We know the players. Next.
Okay. Which former player currently holds the top spot for the highest career earnings in the MLB? Which former player? This is for you, JoJo.
Yeah. Give me
the most
Ken
earnings
Jr.
over the whole career.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Top spot for high. Incorrect, Gabe.
I'm gonna go Pujols again. That's my other answer. Pujols. He made so much money. He signed the dumbest contracts.
You guys overthought it. It is Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod. Oh. He did have 2 massive contracts,
and it was by a lot.
Yeah,
he's made over 100.
Yeah, when he signed with the Yankees,
he's made over 100 million more than the guy in second place. Over 100 million more than the guy in second place. It's around 436 million, I want to say, in total career earning. No, my bad. I don't know. I got to look at it again. But either way, it was Alex Rodriguez. All right. This is for you, Gabe. We're still 1-1. We got to break this. All right. Which team will have the highest payroll in the MLB for the 2024 season?
Oh, it's got to be the Mets. It's either the Mets or the Dodgers, so I'm gonna go Mets.
No, you got to pick one, brother.
Mets.
I have a bonus point if you can get this. All right, it is the Mets for total payroll.
Yeah.
Now your bonus point is who has the highest payroll for a 26-man roster.
Yeah, I will say Dodgers.
For their actual roster.
It's gonna be the Dodgers. They're the Yankees of the West.
All right, incorrect, JoJo. You can take a point here.
San Diego.
Incorrect. Gabe's the only one that comes out with a point. It is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Really?
San Diego has like 3 max contracts on there.
Well, they got rid of
also, too, the Phillies are only behind the Mets by $1 million. The Phillies are the Mets are $224 million a year. The Phillies are $223 million a year.
Damn, for them to get beaten by Arizona, what a shame.
Arizona.
All right, so Gabe gets a point here, and this is JoJo's question.
I'm up 1. Must win. Must win.
JoJo has to get this.
I'm not gonna go look. I'm a goalie in soccer. I'm gonna block. Which way you going? Which way? Block this way.
All right. This was probably gonna be tough for you, JoJo, but you got this. This is the final question, and it comes with a bonus point. What was the largest contract in Miami Marlins history that was given to a free agent? Keyword, a free agent.
Oh, I know this. I think I know this. I know. See, I'm thinking of bad contracts.
And then
now I'm thinking of all the bad contracts that we signed.
I'm trying to.
I got 2 answers.
I'm trying to think of notable players. All right, can you give me a year?
A position. Give him a position.
Or give me a position.
A position?
Please say shortstop.
Because I have a couple names. I'm thinking of just bad Bad contracts.
It is a shortstop.
Jose Reyes.
I had to double check it.
Jose Reyes.
Correct. It is Jose Reyes.
Bro, yeah, we got him. They got him from the Mets. I remember that, but I didn't know. I actually didn't know how much he got paid. But Jose Reyes at the time was a commodity for him to go to Miami. I was like, all right.
He was the batting champion, I believe, that year.
And he had stolen bases. I think he had stolen bases.
I remember that. Okay, I don't know what his contract looked like, but I remember the Mets getting him, and that's it. That was a big deal.
It was a 6-year, $106 million deal. All right. And now here's your bonus point. JoJo can win it here. It's tied up. Your bonus point for it, which is related, is what is the largest contract ever in Marlins history?
Like the number?
Yeah.
Or the person.
Or the player.
Yeah.
The player, yeah.
I mean, Giancarlo, we know that.
Correct. There's your bonus point. JoJo wins.
Wait, and let me guess the money. 310 million.
It's around there. I gotta double check. I didn't have the stat for some reason. I forgot to put the fucking number.
Hold on, I have spot check.
It is like 300 something. It's 300
like
something.
310 or something.
When I saw it, it was like 300 something. It is 325 million in 2014.
Ooh. Sorry, Gabe. I had to come in the clutch. Last two questions.
Came up clutch in the last question.
All right.
With the Marlins history, hey,
listen,
if you would have got closer to, hey, think about it. If you would have got closer to my number, you would have won. That would have been your question.
No. All right, I got a couple of trivias real quick before we get out of here.
Me and JoJo against each other.
You and JoJo. We'll go head to head. Doesn't matter the order. So we talked. We had an MVP conversation a little bit earlier. We talked about who's in the MVP race. Now, going back all the way to 2000 since 2000, there's only been 4 non-quarterbacks that have won MVPs. 4 non-quarterbacks have won MVPs.
I mean, Julian's gonna get this easy.
Can you name going back to 2000? Can anybody? I'll just leave it out. Julian, I'll go to you first.
Can you name? We'll go rattle one by one.
Someone who's won MVP that was not a quarterback in the NFL.
Adrian Peterson.
It happened 4 times. It happened 4 times.
Yes, since 2000.
I'm just going JoJo, give you your 4. I'll give my 4.
No, I'm giving 1, and then you go 1.
Okay,
and then I go 1. I'm not gonna. I don't know 4. I don't know 4 players. So
I don't know if I know 4. Okay. Go.
So JoJo said Adrian Peterson. That's correct. 2012.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. JJ Watt.
3 more. No. Incorrect.
No.
Oh, wow. Damn. Julian Strash. Okay.
MVPs.
Man. Hold on. Wait. Shit. They're all quarterbacks. I'm trying to think.
Oh my god. It's been a while though.
4 have not been quarterbacks. Usually it's a quarterback.
It has to be in the 2000s.
Non-quarterback.
Ray Lewis.
Incorrect.
No.
What?
No.
He's never won MVP.
I don't think it's a.
He might have won a depoy, but not MVP.
Calvin Johnson.
Incorrect.
Really? Even the record-breaking year?
Randy Moss.
Incorrect.
No. Damn. Man, who had an incredible... It has to be a historic year for a non-quarterback to win it.
I'm trying to think receivers.
Is it offense or defense? Can you give us that hint?
Offense.
How many are offense? How many are defense? Oh, so all offense.
They're all offense. And they're not quarterbacks. That's your hint.
So it's got to be a receiver or a running back. Oh, man. Dude, this is tough. I'm going because it has to be the 2000s. Because
you know the name.
I thought you would know, Julian. I thought you would know this.
Well, when it gets to the 2000s is when it gets kind of tough.
For the 99,
Cooper Kupp.
No, it's not modern. It's not modern. I know it's not.
So
damn.
You said
hold up. Don't tell me. Give me AFC or NFC.
I mean, it's going to be both.
Okay, both. All right. How about position? Give me position. Give us position. All right, running back. So 3 more running backs.
You said Adrian Peterson, 2012.
Adrian Peterson. Oh my God, who would be MVP worthy?
You know the names. You know these names when I say them.
I know the names. Be MVP worthy.
I'm beat.
You done, JoJo? You done? I'll finish this. We don't have to.
No, Julian has to give a name at least. You got to get one right.
Give me a division.
This guy's struggling.
How about the greatest show on turf?
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk, 2000.
Okay, that was 2000. Okay, Marshall Faulk. Hold up. MVP.
How about?
Yeah.
You want another clue?
Give me another clue.
This guy was a Charger, and then he became a Jet.
Why am I drawing a blank here? He was a Charger, then became a... Oh, LaDainian Tomlinson?
Yes. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
2006.
He won an MVP? I didn't know that. All right, so then the last one is a running back. All right, what conference is this last one?
NFC. He was on the cover. You think of Madden covers. This guy was definitely on a cover.
God. I know it's not the Cowboys. I keep on wanting to say the Cowboys. LaShawn McCoy? No, it's not.
I'm double checking on the Madden cover because I'm pretty sure he was on there, but let me just double check.
Oh man,
he was on the cover. He was on the cover. 07.
Division?
07? No, I'm not gonna know that.
NFC.
Give me the division though.
West.
NFC. What? All right, dude. Oh, Marshall Faulk? No, not Marshall Faulk. My bad. I already said that. I meant
He's nervous.
That's not who I'm thinking of then. Fuck. NFC West. Marshawn Lynch, Frank Gore. Marshawn Lynch,
5,
Frank Gore.
4, 3, 2.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It's Sean Alexander for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah,
I would have never got that. I don't even know what that is.
So there's
Sean
only
Alexander. Yeah.
There's only been 4 since 2000.
He didn't even come to my mind. I completely forgot.
Since 2000, 2000 was Marshall Faulk, 2005 Sean Alexander, 2006 LaDainian Tomlinson, 2012 Adrian Peterson.
I knew LaDainian would have Adrian Peterson would have been the latest one because there's nothing before Adrian Peterson, so it had to be 2000. I didn't know Sean Alexander. That one threw me for a loop. I would have never.
Yeah.
I'm not a Seahawks guy, so I would have never thought that.
So I got one more trivia real quick because we talked about earlier. Right. You brought it up. I had the stat. You asked me the question earlier about who had the longest streak, which obviously the longest streak without a playoff run, which is obviously the New York Jets, 13 years. But do you know who else across other sports has the longest playoff droughts so far? Can you name any other team?
All right,
this is across MLB.
It's definitely baseball. It's baseball.
It's baseball.
Major sports.
Baseball, hockey, football, basketball. The cities with the longest drought, or franchises with the longest drought to date.
Playoff drought.
Longest playoff drought.
Playoff drought.
Because I don't say I knew Cleveland had a drought for some. I can.
Last week the Jets secured
comes to mind too.
Last week the Jets secured it with 13. Think of the cities and then you can name sports. I can tell you this one city has 2 teams across 2 sports.
All right, so the city has 2 teams.
Yeah. Football, baseball, hockey, basketball.
Yes.
So Chicago.
St. Louis comes to mind. No, Chicago has like 5-6 teams, Jojo. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm thinking a lot of their teams are bad.
He says the city has 2 teams.
This one city has 2 teams, yeah.
Oh, why'd you name
St. Louis comes to mind.
Why did you name 4 different sports?
Well, you have to kind of. He said it could be one of the 4 sports.
Oh, I mean,
St. Louis comes to mind, but St. Louis just won the Stanley Cup, and then it hasn't been that long since the Cardinals were in it.
So 2 teams.
So it's not St. Louis, Minneapolis. Who's in Minnesota? Vikings. No, that's 3 teams.
No, Twins made it recently.
I can tell you one of these answers is I'm only bringing
Kansas
it up
City. No, not Kansas City.
I'm a hater. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Oh, you're a hater. All right, let's see what Gabe hates.
You're a hater. I feel like it's Midwest, man. I don't know why.
So Jets have number 1 with 13. They secured it last week. Can you name some other cities? I'll give you.
What's a city with 2 teams?
You got to think of
Give us the East or West. Just give us the East or West.
I'll say this is. I guess this is East. I'll just say it.
It's Midwest. So I was right about that. Yeah, it's definitely Midwest because he couldn't make a decision. It's Midwest. Oh wait, Pittsburgh. I don't know. No, because Pittsburgh went to the thing.
You consider
the Penguins? No.
Oklahoma?
No, not in here.
No, they only got 1 player. They only got 1 professional team.
Kansas.
I'm trying to think of city. Kansas has 2.
Longest drop.
The Chiefs in the run.
Oklahoma might be there, but they haven't been around long enough to have the longest drop. Let's say that.
Man, so he's leaning towards the east.
I guess
didn't want to say west.
Carolina.
Is Eminem an East Coast rapper? Is Eminem an East Coast rapper?
Detroit. No, the Red Wings just went not too. Well, Red Wings have more than 2 teams. I mean, the Detroit has more than 2 teams, right? Yeah, Detroit does have more than 2 teams. They have the Tigers and the Lions. Oh, wait, we have to pick the team. Okay, so wait.
Detroit
it's not the Lions, so it has to be the Tigers. Yeah.
The Tigers are, since the last playoff run was, I have it right here, 2014. Last appearance of 2014 for Detroit Tigers.
This is the second longest playoff drought in all sports.
And I'll just say it because y'all don't follow hockey.
Major sports.
The Detroit Red Wings was last time was 2015.
I'll say the Red Wings wasn't terribly long ago.
It's been 7 seasons.
You know what's crazy? Wait, no, hold up. Gabe said the team has 2. The city has 2 teams. The city has 3 teams.
Well, on this list,
4 teams actually. Has 4 teams
on this list.
So you meant 2 teams on the list, not 2 teams.
Oh, dude, I thought you meant the city has 2 teams.
2 teams.
No.
All right, so for your listeners out there, like Gabe doesn't know how to ask a question clearly. So.
I'm forever the rule maker.
Listen, the rule was across
you know how many possibilities I narrowed down because of that.
Yeah, because of the two teams in one city thing.
Guys, I said across all sports, all major sports.
Shaking my head.
All right,
shaking.
You know, I just read your list. How about this? So it's the Jets, the Buffalo Sabres. Y'all don't follow hockey. Buffalo Sabres, Detroit Tigers.
How the hell are we supposed to know that?
The Los Angeles Angels, Kansas City Royals, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I mean, the Royals, 2015, they went to the World Series. They haven't made the playoffs since.
Well, that's why I didn't think Kansas City, because I thought obviously the Chiefs won, and then I remember the Royals being in it not too long ago. I don't know what year it was, but
2015, they won.
Well, the Jets have 13. The Kansas City Royals have 8 seasons without a playoff run. Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's not that long. I was thinking a longer stretch.
No, when I know there was a lot playoff.
There were a lot of baseball teams recently that got in that it was like more than 20 years or some shit.
The Marlins was 20 years.
Bro,
legitimate. I don't count the bubble season.
That's playoffs.
It was legitimately 20 years.
Texas was like since 2012.
Yeah. Well, they broke it. I'm not talking about who broke the streak.
I know Seattle, like last year, they broke their drought.
I don't count the COVID season, but the Marlins was 20 years. That's a legitimate 20 years.
Well, this guy would never do COVID. But.
And tied at 4th with 7 seasons, the Denver Broncos. They haven't been in playoffs since 2015. That's all.
It's weird. You wouldn't think it was that like.
I know.
Yeah, you would think it'd be a longer ago, but I guess if it's just playoffs, it's not that crazy.
Forget a title in 7 years, because 7 years ago.
I didn't say win a championship.
Like 50. It's like 50.
Yeah.
Because isn't Cleveland hasn't?
I'm thinking 40 years or 30 years. Like, what team didn't make the playoffs in like 20 years? I don't know.
Because haven't like the Indians not won in like 70 years or something like that?
That's not too bad.
Listen, man.
I don't know. All right, Gabe, end it off.
That's it. That's gonna do it for us this week. Real Fans Podcast 100. Keep it a buck 100. I want to thank Julian. We've been here, Julian, for producing us. Even though sometimes he don't turn on his mic, he keeps it on mute. That's all right, Julian. You know what?
Bye.
Maybe we'll get it right the next 100 episodes. I want to thank JoJo. We're gonna close it out this year. JoJo's been a real good friend of mine, hanging out last couple weeks. So that's it for us. Real Fast Podcast. We appreciate everybody checking us out on the YouTube, all the podcasts, all the things. Thank y'all for checking us out. And we'll be here next week. Find out who's gonna make it in the playoffs this week. That's it for me.
We'll see you on episode 200.
Episode 200. Peace.
Peace
Broncos
out,
country. Let's ride.
No, don't do it. We're not fishing on that. Edit.